What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Phaithful Phanatics Show. I'm one half of your host, Dylan Davis. To my right, as always, my faithful co-host, Scotty, and we are streaming to you guys live today, as always, on our DSM-Media Twitter page, as well as the DSM Philadelphia YouTube channel, as you can see posted up on the screen below me right now. If you want to be interactive throughout today's show or any one of our live stream, like Scotty's showing you how to do right here, make sure to check us out on Twitter first at DSM_media is where you can find us. Make sure to smash that follow button. And then if you want your thoughts, comments, and questions pulled up here, make sure to check out the YouTube link specifically. It's the best and only spot to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns pulled up with us. The Eagles bring in not one, but two pieces to the offensive coaching staff to fix and revitalize this offense from 2025. As the Turf Talk show was ending yesterday, they brought in Green Bay Packers pass game coordinator Sean Mannion to be the new OC, but that's not all, Scotty. As of this morning, Adam Schefter reports that the Eagles have also hired Josh Grizzard, former OC with Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from last year, the pass game coordinator to work hand in hand with Sean Mannion to turn things around. We're going to dive into those two hirings, what they mean, and how you guys are feeling about them as we get into this offseason. The Sixers come away with a win, but an ugly win. A lot of lack of hustle last night at the Xfinity Mobile Arena against the disastrous Sacramento Kings. I guess that's the nice way to put it. But they come away with a win. Tyrese Maxey hits the game winner and drops 40. Joel Embiid drops 37. So there are positives we can look into.
They did their jobs.
But they're going to have to play harder than that moving forward, to say it nice. But Absolutely. Happy Friday, my man. Happy Friday, everyone, and let's get to it.
Yes, sir. Happy Friday, man. You hit the nail on the head with the overview on the topics, man. And I'll just add one more. I did see a clip from the Anthony Gargano show that apparently Vic Fangio is not retiring. So that's also some great news to add on to it, man. But you mentioned it, man. We were wrapping up Turf Talk yesterday and get the news about Sean Mannion, which, it was getting down to a few candidates, right, that have had multiple interviews with the Birds. And Sean Mannion, Josh Grizzard, Jim Bob Cooter, right, and some other names mixed in there. But those were the main guys that we were hearing about down the stretch here, and they ultimately go with Sean Mannion. We talked about it a little bit at the end of Turf Talk, but, you hear the news. It is a little bit of it's more than Kevin Patullo, but it's still at the same time a risk when you hire somebody
it's a big
2
swing.
years of coaching experience, right? But at the same time, you do get excited when you think about an external hire. You think about the systems that Sean Mannion comes from. And then you also just you think about the upgrade in the coordinator levels from last year, right? And that's one thing that I tried to take into consideration when we made that hire last night. Then you talked about it with Josh Grizzard. You add a whole other level to the hiring when you ultimately make that second hire at pass game coordinator. So yeah, man, we can get into it, but I am really excited. To be clear, I was really excited about Sean Mannion just because of some of the things that the Green Bay Packers fans were saying around the internet. I'm not going to sit here and act like I was, sitting there studying what Sean Mannion was doing in Jordan Love's life and career or Malik Willis's life and career. Yes, they played well. You look by the numbers, right? We're not. I'll leave you to the Jordan Love combo. You look by the numbers, though. The QB rating, all that is very good for Jordan Love. Malik Willis had some good time in Green Bay as well with Sean Mannion there. So you do get excited when you start to think about it. But then you add the experience with Grizzard. But I'll throw it back to you, brother. How are you feeling? Sean Mannion to start. Let's talk about him by himself, and then maybe we can talk about him with the addition, right?
Yeah. I think the big thing that you laid out is that this is a swing. This is an unknown, right? So if there's anybody out there, like you mentioned jokingly kind of that, you haven't sat down and like watched film on the Green Bay Packers from the last year or two and understand his philosophy, how he literally turned Jordan Love into an efficient passer or anything like that. I would tell you that 99.8% of anyone talking about this conversation doesn't know the answer either. If anyone's out there as an Eagles fan praising this hire, acting like they know everything there is to know about Sean Mannion. The guy's never called plays in the National Football League. You don't know. None of us know. I will say, though, I like it. They went, look, Brian Dable was off the board. Mike McDaniel was off the board. Bobby Slowick was off the board. Names continued to fall off the board, and clearly the Eagles did their due diligence with those guys, right? It's not like the Eagles just didn't get a chance to speak with them or sit down with them. They went a different direction. They went with a guy that has come from the Kyle Shanahan tree, right? He's learned under Matt LaFleur. He's played and learned under guys like Zach Taylor and Kevin O'Connell and Sean McVay recently, right? He's a backup quarterback in the league for a while now. Something I didn't know just off a quick Google search. Did you know that Sean Mannion is the Pac-12 all-time passing leader with 13,600 yards at Oregon State from 2010 to 2014?
I knew he went to Oregon State.
There you go. There you go.
He was a guy.
But, no, it is a complete unknown. There he is. There's my guy. He's not a random pumper. This was a guy that was being interviewed by a couple of teams and was being spoke about throughout national media as one of the younger, up and coming, intelligent Kyle Shanahan tree guys. But it is an unknown. That's the one thing that's a little scary. But
for
what the Eagles did today makes me feel 100 times better about it. I love what they did today. And that is adding on to this coaching staff and bringing in Josh Grizzard, who was another former OC with Tampa Bay last year that they interviewed 2 or 3 times as well. They actually interviewed him yesterday afternoon before ultimately giving the job to Mannion. They bring him in as the pass game coordinator. And why I love this is because this is a guy that has called plays at the highest level. This is a guy that was just coaching Baker Mayfield. And I know that the Bucs fell off at the end of the year and went on a crazy losing streak and end up missing the playoffs and everything like that. This is an offense that had Bucky Irving in and out of it, had Mike Evans missing chunks of time, had Chris Godwin missing chunks of time, had Emeka Buka in and out of it. At one point in the season, Sterling Shepard was wide receiver 1 for Baker Mayfield. That's what Josh Grizzard was realistically dealing with this past year. He's also come from the Mike McDaniels tree as well, where he, I don't want to mess this up, was the offensive quality control coach at Miami from 2017 to 2019 and 22 to 23. So he comes from a Mike McDaniels offense as well. You bring in 2 younger, not uber experienced coaches to say the least, but you put 2 minds in a room that you were looking at for the same position to try to turn this offense around. I like it because it allows Mannion to learn from someone that has done the job and did the job pretty well to his ability last year.
Yeah, and I think it allows them to kind of separate and kind of accomplish things by, divide. I think this will allow Sean Mannion to kind of hone in on what he's good at, helping the quarterback, play design, making decisions easy for Jalen Hurts in this offense. But I also think when you have Grizzard, like you said, you bring a little bit of experience, obviously, as a play caller, but he was also the third down play caller, apparently, when he was the passing game coordinator for the Bucs as well, had like a close to 51% third down success percentage when he was in that position. Overall, he's had 9 years of coaching. Like you said, some of that was quality control coaching in Miami. But I think the big thing for me, man, is that we finally get somebody, and you get multiple, actually. You get 2 that come ultimately from one part of that Shanahan tree of offensive design, offensive scheme, helping the quarterback and giving them easy situations to deal with. That's why I'm ultimately excited. You talked about Sean Mannion. He spent 2015 through 2023, whether it was playing quarterback for the Rams and the Seahawks, so on and so forth, or coaching under obviously Matt LaFleur, and then I think he spent some time with the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell as well. So you look at all the coaches that he's been around. If they keep bringing him around, apparently Matt LaFleur hijacked his hiring for another position to bring him into Green Bay. he's a guy that people like. They like his mind when it comes to offense. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know that he's going to come in and have it success.
We don't
but
know.
Like you said, you add Josh Grizzard, it gives you a little bit more insurance to work with there. And no, I'm excited, man. I think you have to be excited. I get it, Pumper. Like, it wasn't your favorite hiring. I get it. You wanted the guy from the Rams.
That's where
the only guy that was going to impress you, right?
That's where I get confused.
You would never be satisfied.
That's where I get confused, and I guess I shouldn't be confused with you, brother. Like, this is where don't play dumb. Josh, he was an offensive coordinator in Tampa Bay last year. He wasn't a quality control guy like you were making fun of before. He was an OC in Tampa Bay last year. But this is where you lose me, and I shouldn't be surprised that you're saying shit like this, but you're poking fun at an offensive quality control guy, but you were sucking off the Rams pass game coordinator a week ago. Like you know everything there is to know about Nate Shieldhouse, as if Sean McVay's not in the building, as if they don't have Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Devontae Adams at their disposal. You think his job was a little easier than Sean Mannion's with Jordan Love and Romeo Doubs? This is where you lose me, bro, because you don't know anything about any of them. Just like Scotty and I are saying, we just sit down and watch tape about Nate Shieldhouse or Sean Mannion. Cool. And he wasn't going anywhere. He was off the board. He was staying with the Rams. So what did you want them to do? As if they had a chance to handpick Nate Shieldhouse.
The other thing I want to think about here as well is you did see the Eagles cast a wide net. They talked to
everybody
of the candidates that were available that were of quality, and this is what they decided to go with ultimately. We don't know what they discussed with Brian Daboll, with these different coordinators, maybe with a little bit more experience, where, hey, do you see yourself going for another head coaching job next offseason? Because if so, we're not really looking for another rental. We want somebody that's going to be here
even that, man.
Maybe at least a couple seasons.
Here's where you have to. I know last year was bad, and I know we get tied up in the Patullo nonsense and the Brian Johnson offense 2 years before that, right? This is where the Eagles and Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman deserve a little bit of fucking credit for all the success they've had over the past decade to half decade, man. When they go outside of the organization, they have nailed who they've brought in. We've had underwhelming performances when Nick Sirianni promotes his friends from within.
Yeah.
When Jalen Hurts gets a former friend and his godfather, whatever the fuck it is, promoted in 2023. Nick promotes his friend last year. But when they go out and get a Shane Steichen, did it work? I think that worked. They go out and get a Kellen Moore. Did that work? I think that worked. So you don't have to care about Nick and Nick's role in it and the messes that he's made. Jeffrey and Howie and this organization as a whole deserve a little bit of effing grace when it comes to hiring an offensive mind from the outside. That's what I'm saying. You are this is where you lose me. And honestly, I like it because you make the show a little bit more intriguing to people when you get me to yell. Wide net. They talk to everybody. Everybody. They interviewed Brian Daboll, Mike McDaniels, Bobby Slowick, the guys we didn't want, and Mike Kafka and Matt Nagy.
The Doyle from Chicago. I mean,
Jim Bob they interviewed everybody. You're just handpicking 4 guys out of the net and making fun of it.
Just angry, man. Just angry at the Eagles. I get it. It was painful this past season. I get it. Kevin Patullo was miserable. That was a miserable experience. But it's not like these guys aren't highly talented. I don't get it. It's not like we were the only one to interview these guys for positions. And once again, just the guy that you want. You know what I mean? The
guy you want, the guy that he wants, he knows nothing about other than the fact that Matthew Stafford throws the ball to Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams.
I'm sure it's a good. They all come from the same tree. I get it. I do get it. He's around.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm confused. I don't understand what the connection between this comment is to being mad about the Grizzard and Mannion hires. It's change. It's different. They're young. They bring different minds in. They come from the coaching tree that Scotty keeps reiterating. So what does this have to do with everything, with anything?
Let me ask this. Would you have rather had Jim Bob Cooter? And maybe if it's Jim Bob Cooter, maybe he doesn't allow them to pick Grizzard as their all. And whatever you feel about those dynamics, like that's whatever, fine. Like it's out of our control. It's ultimately up to Howie, Jeff Lurie. But at the end of the day, I don't think the Eagles were looking for something that's just going to be next year. I think they're looking for something that is going to be continued for at least a season or two, like 2 seasons
Right.
or so, right? A couple of seasons, man. Because this recycling coordinator stuff is not working. We got to figure it out, and we gotta put pieces together. But I just think of like Brian Daboll. Maybe you don't get to select his pass game coordinator, and maybe that was where the roads didn't meet, right? Maybe the same thing with McDaniel. Maybe it was weather for his wife. Maybe it was all these different things. But at the end of the day, man, I'm gonna, like you said, trust Howie.
Yeah, like
the decision making by this
because they've done nothing but
a lot of good ones,
but put themselves in a position to deserve that grace and that credit.
Yeah,
like that's all.
Yeah,
dude, man, I grew up, like, don't get me wrong, when I was very young, Donovan McNabb took the Eagles to 4 consecutive, and Andy Reid took the Eagles to 4 consecutive NFC championships from 2002 through 2005 or somewhere in that period. All I could tell you that I really remember, a glimpse of playing Brett Favre at the Link, and I remember the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Not even all of it. I just remember like the T.O. year a little bit, right? My lifetime before Howie Roseman was brought back after the Chip Kelly nonsense was filled with mediocre football to bad football. And all these two have done since I've become a young man into a grown-up is have them relevant consistently in the playoffs, 3 Super Bowl appearances in less than a decade, winning 2 of them. So, yeah, excuse me if I'll give those two the benefit of the doubt to find the next right guy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree, man. I'm okay with it. I think if it was just Sean Mannion, to your point, to Pumper's point, right, experience, he's the guy that does lack experience coaching, right? He's spent a couple years in the league.
Josh Grizzard doesn't.
Josh Grizzard has a couple years. He has more than a couple years, at least in the coaching room with the coaches. And that's what you're ultimately bringing in behind Sean Mannion. I think when you combine those experiences, you combine them coming from that Shanahan, McVay, McDaniel tree, the LaFleur tree, I think that all those things add up into a good positive combination.
I think it is very clear. I think it is very clear that a guy that was getting a bunch of OC interviews and is a former OC from this past year got offered the job and accepted the job less than 24 hours after we hired our OC. I think it's abundantly clear that this is a group effort. Like, obviously, Mannion will have the responsibilities. He's going to be calling the plays, etc. But this will, like, if they brought in a pass game coordinator 2 months from now, or Mannion brought in his own guy, that's different. The fact that they sat down with 2 separate interviewees and hired both within a 12-hour span or so, it's one guy is the mind they want to go with. One guy has play calling experience. Let's mesh him. He can learn from Grizzard and like all throughout the offseason, and they can come up with a game plan together.
Yeah, no, that's the way I look at it, man. And I just think about some of the other candidates we could have had. We could have had guys with more experience. Sure. I mean, sure. That's fair.
So
if that's what you wanted is a guy with more experience.
So name it. So pump. So right. He keeps going back to the no experience. So name it.
Right.
That's all I'm asking. Name it.
I mean, Zach Robinson.
And I don't. I'm being serious. I don't know the answer to this. So I'm not trying to come off as a smartass. How much experience does Nate Scheelhaus have as the Rams pass game coordinator?
And I'm not saying I didn't want Nate Scheelhaus. Like, I'm not saying I didn't want him to get an opportunity or that I didn't want to Try that. It's just not what we did, man. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know that Sean Mannion's going to come in and suck as a coach. And that him and Grizzard as a team with Sirianni, that they're all just going to suck as coaches. And there's a lot more factors. I know we continued to harp on the OC, and fair enough, because they did run 4 verticals on 4th and 12 to end the fucking season. So, like, fair enough. But the offensive line did not play well, right? Like, the run game was not able to get going. There's a lot of different factors. Jalen Hurts didn't play his best ball down the stretch. That's for sure. So, like, all of these things have to be factored in. All of them could stem from the poor play calling, poor play design. Come on. It's got to be fucking better than what we had last year. It's got to be better.
It 1,000%.
It's got to be.
It 1,000% will be. I understand there may be some growing pains or some frustrations with a guy that has never called play. But, like, this is my thing. No one gets the chance to prove themselves until they get a chance to prove themselves. Like, we can sit here and harp. You can sit here and harp on, oh, he's never called plays before and he has no experience, da-da-da. And what happens when through the first month of football in September, the Eagles look like a completely different fucking team and you're sitting here glazing what the new OC is doing? I'm not saying that's going to happen. I have no idea, but that's the whole point. You don't know what type of play caller Sean Mannion's going to be either. So hold the fucking happy bus up.
Do we think that the changes to the offensive play design, do we think that they're like super complex?
No.
Like super complex? Like when you're running 4 verticals, back-to-back plays, is it just complex? Run a slant, run a cross, a shallow cross, quick play action. I don't know, man. I think there are simple fixes, pre-snap motion that you can add to this offense that will just completely change everything for the whole dynamic of the offense. So I get it, man. I get it. I get it. If you wanted more experience and you wanted a former offensive coordinator to come in and lead this offense and call plays, I think that's fair. If you were like comparing it to like Brian Daboll and you think we swung out on Brian Daboll, I think that is like, that's fair. You think we swung out on Mike McDaniel. I think that's fair. Well, these are guys with quality experience.
I was looking for this. I was looking to see if I bookmarked this tweet about Sean Mannion versus Kevin Patullo, but as I was doing it, this Eagles fan posted 4 screenshots of Tampa Bay's route tree.
Yeah,
through certain weeks in 2025, and let's just say it's very different than what we experienced.
I mean, who was that wide receiver, that rookie wide receiver down there for them? Was it Tez Johnson? Tez Johnson. Yeah. I remember he was catching touchdowns down there consecutive weeks. Yeah, I get it. They fell apart down the stretch. The Bucs did, but
the thing I was looking for, I didn't end up saving it, but the thing I was looking for was, obviously, we all know how much Kevin Patullo valued his hitch routes this past year.
Yeah, I know what stat you're about.
Green Bay ran hitch routes at the 3rd lowest total.
I think it was the second. It's 31st.
The 2nd lowest total this year.
Yeah.
So we don't know what it's going to look like. We have months on months to debate this and play hypotheticals with it and argue over it. But the bottom line is, if I can promise you one thing, it's going to look very different. It's going to be better, and we'll talk more about Sean Mannion and Josh Grizzard in the summer and into the into the fall.
Do you think that was maybe the other surprise that Shefty was hinting at, or do you think that there could be something else?
That's a good point. That is a good point.
That wasn't a surprise. I did not expect them to hire 2 offensive coordinator candidates.
Right, me neither. It could be. I'll say no. I think it could be something over retirement. I don't think it's going to be Vic, though, like you mentioned. I know Gargano is just saying, whatever sources he has within the building and relationships, which I would assume are pretty held up. But I don't think it's going to be Vic. Obviously, I think the Lane thing would come as a surprise. Like, I know, like, it's winding down and he's had a lot of injuries and stuff.
I feel like he would give us a heads up, though.
Yeah. if it's BG, I say this with all due respect. Like if it's like a BG bomb that like he's retiring, doesn't affect me none. Like he's
I
Eagles.
feel
Like
that.
I already went through
You gave
the
him the
mourning
ring on
of
the way
Brandon
out.
Graham retiring as an all-time Eagle. I came back for a little bit of help. We lost in the first round. It's okay if you go back into the sunset again. Yeah, no, you're right, man.
So
The guy,
overall,
yeah,
what would you?
the guy that won
that
Super Bowl
comment.
MVP and has been to 2 Super Bowls, he can't see. Yeah,
That
you're
comment,
right, man.
man. Yeah, I saw that.
You're
I
right.
tried not to chuckle, but
You're right.
what would you overall grade the offensive additions?
That's tough, man. I'll just give it a B. I'll give it a B. I don't think it deserves anything lower than a B. And I think anyone that wants to come, I mean, I think hiring both, like, I think can bump it up, right? Like, for the ideas that, a collective, 2 different minds coming from 2 different places, kind of building something together. But, anyone that's going to sit here as like an Eagles fan, right? If you were a Packers fan and you watched every play of every week for the last year or two, and you've seen Jordan Love's development and even Malik Willis having to start games and what he's looked like since being drafted. Yeah, you understand the job that this guy did. But if you're an Eagles fan, you don't know.
We're going off.
So if you come out and be like, A+, this dude's the next guy up, he's the next genius, he's the next, you don't know. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah, no, I give it a B, just like you said, for the collective minds, maybe a B-, right? Because I do think experience does matter. I think when you start to think about, Sirianni's influence, even who would he have more influence on, a younger coaching mind or a more experienced coaching mind? I think when I think about me wanting Sirianni's design and scheme concepts out of the offense,
bad, man.
I would rather have somebody with experience. So it's not like I'm sitting here, slamming the table, happy that we didn't get Brian Dable or some other coordinator out there. Mike McDaniel, obviously, that's who I pinpointed from the jump, but that was never really a thing.
Scotty, man.
I just think when you hire both, you give yourself multiple opportunities to get things right, just by coming together. So I like it, man. I think this guy, like you said, we're just going off other people's word, but it's been all good from what I've heard since he's been rumored to be running for the offensive coordinator. So we'll see.
The Nick point again, we're going around on that fucking merry-go-round of what's he going to do if I say to kick him out of the room? Like I don't need Nick Sirianni anywhere near the offense anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I not only brought in a younger guy that I'm giving these responsibilities to, I brought in 2 new minds, 2 new voices. I don't need Nick Sirianni's input going, in that room.
Yeah.
He's not involved in the defense.
I feel that.
Now the counterpoint to that is, well, he's never been a defensive guy. So why would he be in the defensive meetings? And why would he have any say or control over what the defense does? Understood. But really, I know, I know I'm contradicting myself when I say, what has he done as an offensive guy? Because they've been to 2 Super Bowls. But I think there's enough evidence that anybody that follows the Eagles out there can tell you the differences in the success versus the failures and the collapses.
Yeah.
And the difference is that Nick is inputted into the failures. I think it's clear as day. And so then we get down to, well, if I tell him he's not involved in either, well, then what the fuck do you do for me? You are Mr. CEO, head coach.
I was going to say, they've really struggled from a discipline standpoint. Like, he does have a job that he could do as a CEO of the team. It's not like they led the league in, least amount of penalties. Like, they do need checked. I don't know what it was last year, but they did a lot of out of character things, a lot of just different miscues, especially from an offensive line standpoint, to be specific. So I think he does have some things that he could tidy up around the training camp sessions and the organization to get these guys in shape, man. I mean, I won't lie to you. Obviously, this is like completely off of the field stuff, but I saw Smitty doing his little fashion shoot, and I was just like, man, you see AJ in his little Geico commercial. You see, Jalen with his old Jordan brand edition gear. and Saquon in every other commercial you see on TV. It's like these guys, they did. They went and grabbed the bag. And at the end of the day, man, you cannot say that doesn't impact your practice method, everything that goes into your routines per year, right, to have that success. So I look at a lot of different things that this team can ultimately tidy up, get refocused, and reapproach next season. But yeah, I like the additions, man. What did you think of the Jeff Stoutland conversations recently, man? Just online, different things are being said, different rumors.
Yeah, I find it incredibly weird because up until now, this has been he has to be the most highly respected, highly regarded
Right.
any form of coach
Yeah.
in maybe in Eagles history. Like I've never from an analyst on a broadcast, from other players, from former players, from current play, I have never heard anything but not negative. I've never heard anything but positive out the ass comments about this dude.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, like guys interviewing for the job, like they don't like how involved he may be in the run game. And where you lose me with that is, okay, like last year, yeah, the run game struggled. The offensive line didn't play well.
Yeah.
Saquon didn't play well. But put last year aside, and all Jeff Stoutland has on his resume is astronomical success in the running game. I mean,
yeah.
Like this is where recency bias just becomes such a bitch, man. Because like last year, Saquon runs for 2K and the offense, and they have all 5 could be Pro Bowlers. We've had DeAndre Swift come in and run for 1,000. Miles Sanders was running for thousands of yards here.
Went to the Super Bowl. It's interesting.
And all of a sudden, like
the thing for me, bro, is just like, why does he get thrown under the bus as well, though? Like you could do that in-house and make that decision. Maybe it's you want him to, just fully focus on the O-line and their technique and their scheme and what they're doing, and maybe less on the run game as a whole. You could do that all without telling the public. But this team, they love to air it out. They love to air the locker room out. I would love to know who the snitch is, man. They just go around spreading all the rumors. But I guess
they either have one singular masterful snitch in that building, or they got a lot of holes they got to plug up. Because every fucking year, it doesn't matter if this team is in the middle of a collapse. It doesn't matter if this is the best team in football and they're on their way to winning a Super Bowl. It doesn't matter if they won a Super Bowl 2 weeks ago. It doesn't matter if it's the week leading up to the Super Bowl. Whatever the case may be, there is a controversial story or a quote or something coming out of that building. Now, whether this is some are made up and some are true, most are made up, most are true, I don't know. But they find a way to constantly have just an anchor pulling them back down in the dirt a little bit.
Yeah.
Even when they're at the top of the fucking mountain winning a Super Bowl, they find a way to come back down just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's annoying. It really
is. Tiring. It is. But hopefully we took a step forward the last 2 days, hopefully, right?
And I think we did. And that's where every mind should be. If you're thinking like Pumper, that tells me all I really need to know about you. If you're overly ecstatic about the hire and you know exactly what Sean Mannion's going to bring to the table, you're a liar. But I think there's reasons for caution. There's reasons for optimism. I like that they brought in both.
Yeah.
And let's see where we go from here. That's where I'm at. The Super Bowl hasn't even been played for the 2025 season. We have a long way to go before the Eagles get back in the building. To be overly analyzing this would be insane. So
the next phase will be draft season, right?
Yep.
Does refresh me, man? Refresh me. I'm very groggy right now. Free agency comes after draft. Draft comes after free agency.
No, free agency's first. Free agency's first. Free agency's what? Like in the beginning of March, I believe. And then the draft is the end of April. Something like that. But yeah, no, free agency definitely comes first. But all right, let's switch gears here.
Yeah,
To,
just
I
start
guess, a positive?
11th.
Are we keeping up the positive vibes with this other segment, or we gonna rip them? And when I say rip them, I don't mean
Nah,
rip
we
them
don't-
like take
we
it
don't
to
have
a
to
whole
rip
nother
'em.
level about what they are as a team this year and da da da. But the effort last night, and you text me, the effort last night is inexcusable. Point blank. Period. That
Yeah.
should never and can never happen again. This is a 12-win Sacramento Kings team. This is a team that you were favored by 11.5 points at home against last night. And it took a Tyrese Maxey practical buzzer beater. What was there left? 0.2 seconds left on the clock when that bucket went through to come away and beat them. You got out rebounded 46-24. You gave up 15 offensive rebounds. You know how many the Sixers grabbed, Scotty? 2 of those bitches. The points off turnovers, astronomical difference. All that was last night was pure hustle. Like, think about it this way. Joel was phenomenal last night. 37 points, 36 minutes. Uber efficient. 8 assists, a steal, a block. 7 feet and grabbed 5 rebounds. And it's like, okay, well, Joel had an off night on the boards. Maybe shots went away. No. Joel was tied with VJ for the team lead in rebounds at 5.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. Paul George grabbed 2 rebounds.
Yeah.
Dominic Barlow in 21 minutes grabbed 1 rebound. It's embarrassing. And it cannot happen again. Now, with that said, Tyrese Maxey went off. Joel Embiid went off. Paul George, 7 of 15. 5 assists, 2 steals. There's also very good stuff coming out of it.
There's some good, man. Yeah. Embiid and Maxey, 77 points combined. But it was exactly why I just did not jump on that hype train after that Bucs win, man, because you can't just count on everything to be back just in one swipe, right?
Agreed.
One game just to get it clicked, right? And McCain goes off in that game. You have Paul George hitting 9 threes in that game, and it was great. They scored close. I think they scored 139, close to 140 in that Bucs game. But we can't just forget what they did on Monday either, right? Like that Hornets lost by 40. They were down by 50.
Can't forget the third quarter against the Knicks.
The Knicks, yeah. Saturday. So this is all tying into these thoughts. You go into last night, and I think even with the Kings record, man, that's not a game you go in like asleep. Like, that's still DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan, yeah.
You got some vets over there that can contribute still in their careers, and you saw it last night, man. Like you said, all they did was come out and out-hustle the Sixers. It's the same thing, like you just said, about the Knicks' third quarter that I saw there. Yeah, obviously, you had Embiid go off in the first half of that game. He's tired. I get it. He's gassed, whatever. Guys need to step the hell up. Like, that's what it comes down to, and that's what pissed me off so much about that Bucs game. Let me not. A lot of it was the bets that I had placed in the game. But what really did piss me off was the fact that Paul George wanted to hit 9 threes against the Giannis-less Bucs. But where were you at against the motherfucking Knicks? On a Saturday primetime game in Philly, we really want to make a statement, beat the Knicks for the 3rd time this season. And nobody wants to step up next to Embiid after that first half performance. It's just like, okay, against the Bucs, the Giannis-less Bucs, right? But there's just no excuse for the way that they play down sometimes. And it just seems like it takes over the whole team. Like you said in our last show, man, VJ, it's like his energy as a rookie fuels them sometimes, and it just can't be like that. Luckily, you did get Maxey, who was energized last night. He was active very early, especially from the 3-point line. He was able to get downhill, be aggressive, and you saw him get back to more of that all-star starter type of play in that game, so that is a good sign. But once again, man, I just want consistency. I'm looking at Kelly Oubre. 4 points, 3 rebounds, 37 minutes. What the fuck are you doing on the court? 37 minutes? What are you doing? Like, he shot what? One for 3 in the game? He took 3 shots. Like, what are you doing exactly? And then in the game against the Bucs, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 23 minutes. It's just like, what are we doing to fill up our time on the court?
Yep.
We need to make the most of it, especially if you're in those role player positions. And they just don't do it on a consistent basis, man. Last 10 games, 5-5. Just mid. Like, it needs to be better. Embiid is looking better. At times, Paul George looks better. Maxey is an all-star.
Right. That's the frustrating part, right? That
I drop a game like the Hornets in the middle there. Like,
I agree with you, man, because the one thing that you and I have been discussing since October of this year, Grimes has been up and down, right? Grimes has been playing real well lately, but started the season on fire. Watford has had his moments. McCain, obviously, against the Bucs the other night. Paul George, VJ's been phenomenal. All we kept thinking was, okay, you have an all-star in Maxey. VJ has surpassed all these expectations so quickly, transcended himself into a shooter, right? Which we weren't expecting. And you have all this help between Kelly and Grimes and Watford and Bona. This is the most complete team around Embiid.
Yeah.
And now Joel is back to doing Joel type of things, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing. I know it's a very small sample size right now. I'm going to give these guys time to continue to play around them and be good around them. But it's like now that Joel's back to doing Joel things, the role players come back down to doing this.
Yep.
And that is what's going to keep you as a first or second round exit. The ceiling the Sixers get to as an Eastern Conference Finals opponent, or maybe even an Eastern Conference Finals favorite, is a version of Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid like this. And the other guys maybe not being, the top of their game of everything they've accomplished this year, right? Maybe not Quentin Grimes giving you 26, Kelly giving you 26, Paul George hitting 9 threes. I'm not asking for 14. That. Yeah. And when you're open in the corner in a playoff game, unlike DeAnthony Melton, unlike other guys in the past, you have to be able to knock down open shots. You have to be able to create when Joel's not on the floor. Yeah. And that's what over the last 4 games is you're not getting. You were getting great help from everyone else while Joel was sluggishly working himself back, or when Joel's not playing in a game. But now that Joel's back to dropping 37, Kelly scores 4 points. Grimes can't shoot. Paul George, scores 15, which is fine. Like, I'm not blaming Paul George for last night.
That's what I was going to say. That's fine.
Yeah.
You need VJ to not score 5 points. You need Oubre to not just give you 4 points and 3 rebounds in 35 plus minutes. Like, that type of stuff is effort, because those are effort guys at the end of the day. VJ, at the end of the day, you got to give us more effort than that, right? Like, there's no excuse last night at all.
No.
You're home. Man, it's a West Coast team traveling across the country to play you. There's no back-to-back. There's no excuse to lack energy, man, and that's just what concerns me on the night.
You allowed Precious Achiuwa to grab 13 rebounds in this game.
Yeah, that's effort.
You got out-rebounded by 22 at home to a 12-win team.
Barlow looks lost out there, man. He looks like a guy who feels like nervous about his two-way contract right now. That's exactly what he looks like to me. He looks like a guy that's pressing when he's on the court and making mistakes off of it. They just gotta settle in, man. But they need to gain some consistency. Otherwise, we're not going to get up into those upper seedings in the East where make you feel a little bit better about the team, right? I would like to see them get up around the 4 or 3 seed, maybe. Maybe I'm setting those expectations too high.
Well, they're 3 games behind Boston and New York collectively. I think they're like 2.5 games or 2 games behind Toronto. Toronto's played like 3 more games than us at this point. But you get New Orleans at home this Saturday.
Yeah,
it's got to be a win.
Yeah. Has to be.
And then, I'm saying that politely. It's got to be a win, and it can't look like last night's game. And then we get going, man. Then we head out west for a long trip. For over a week, basically. You get the Clippers, who are one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team in basketball right now. You get Golden State, who obviously lost Jimmy for the season, but still. You get the Lakers. You get the Suns, who you just lost to at home. Right,
that's
we lost
a sink or swim road trip.
And then you get a young Portland team on Monday the 9th, are sitting around 500. So they're not a terrible team right now either.
Come back home and play the Knicks and the Hawks. So there's no ease up in February, as you just pointed out.
We'll include the Pelicans in this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the next 8 games. What are you looking for? 5 and 3?
Yeah, I mean, ideally above 500.
What about just on the West Coast trip? 1, 2, 3, 5 games on the West Coast trip. It's 3 and 2, okay?
Yeah, 3 and 2 on the West Coast trip. I think it's just like, can they establish themselves? Like, what caliber team are you?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the perfect opportunity to do so. And mind you,
the Warriors without Jimmy, you should.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason you should lose to the
Well,
Warriors.
it's incredibly frustrating.
Back-to-back.
Exactly. I was looking to see if we had any mixed in there, and of course you do. You play the Clippers and then you play Golden State. If I'm being honest with you, bro, obviously I would see like what the Clippers are doing that night as well. Like if Harden and Kawhi are both to go and all, but that's where I would play my guys. I would want to play the Clippers right now. Obviously 22 and 24, but
they play the night before as well. The Clippers play the night before as well.
Do they? So we'll see how they line up. But the Clippers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 and 1, 7 and 1, 7 and 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 2, 13 and 3, 14, 15, 16. They're 16 and 3 in their last 19 games. They're 22 and 24. That, like, I get it. Like the record ain't there when you just gloss over it for the season. They're the hottest team in the national basketball.
Do you not want to beat those guys? Like, is that that's what I mean by some of these games.
I agree.
Can we get up for this matchup?
I agree.
Like,
I don't want it. Like, man, like that's what I'm saying.
Paul George's old team. It's Harden that ditched the squad. Like all of this. Like, can we?
Now again, like you said, they're on a back-to-back as well. So we'll see. If Kawhi sits out, but I'm saying if that's the game that Kawhi and Harden are going to play, I don't want it to be 2 days later and it be the Sixers lost to the Clippers, but we didn't play Joel or Paul George. That was your decision.
Yeah, that's a decision. It's just like the Hornets game, right? No Paul George or Joel Embiid, but like you can still compete with the fucking Hornets without them two, right? It's just that type of stuff is unacceptable. They're not going to be able to gain any ground in the Eastern Conference if you're not stacking up wins, especially against teams that you're supposed to beat, right? And last night, they really cut it close because think about that, man. You lose last night. You only won by 2 points. Like you said, it was a last-second maxi layup. You lose last night, that means you would have lost to the 10-win Kings team. And then however many wins the Hornets have this season. You got blown out by them on Monday. Yep.
The Hornets
then God forbid you include Saturday against the Knicks because I was pulling my hair out, man. That third quarter, I mean, you were with me. We were texting, man. Like that shit, that was disgusting. We're far past that by now, but that would have been
13 points in the third quarter. And I know it's an ugly joke at this point what this team does coming out of halftime. But 13, they've had bad nights of like 19 or 21, and they give up 30. They lose the third quarter 34-21. That's ugly. 13. Mind you, they scored 4 in the first minute of the third quarter. So they scored 9 total points in the last 11 minutes of the third quarter.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. If it makes you feel any better, though, I was watching the Spurs and the Rockets game the other night, and the Rockets scored like 11 points in the fourth quarter or some shit. So
okay, so it does happen. Like it can happen.
I was going to bring this up to wrap up the show. So Pumper, obviously we know where Pumper's mind is. He's doing the VJ for Giannis trade.
What is the VJ trade though? Like what is it?
Yeah, lay out fully what you would give up for Giannis. And I'm going to say this, Pumper.
VJ,
I'm not here to rip your head off, right? Like I'm not saying that I agree with you and that I want to do it or I would do it. At the same time, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. You go out and add Giannis Antetokounmpo with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, you're instantly the favorites in the Eastern Conference. But it's just so tough, man, because on one hand, we've seen what having a few stars versus a complete team can do to you.
Yeah.
But we've also never Giannis has never been on the Sixers, right? Like an older James Harden has been on the Sixers, right? Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris have come to the Sixers. Giannis has never been on the market.
And I
so
mean,
it's tough for me to think that way.
How much juice is he getting when he finds out he's going to play with Embiid and Maxey? I mean, the floor space.
And I'm being serious, man. How quickly does that calf injury go away?
Right. I
like, is it a calf injury, or is he just doing what every other superstar has done and sits down until he gets his way out?
VJ, even if it had to be like VJ and like McCain, right? And I don't know. You have to include somebody for money purposes.
It's Paul George,
at the end
probably.
Of the day. It's probably Paul George, right? So maybe it's VJ, Paul George, and a first-round pick, or maybe it's 2 first-round picks. I would do it. I would do it.
I know.
What'd you think of Joel Embiid's comments last night after the game, though? He talked about, well, he had mentioned that the last few years they try to like duck the tax, and how he, hopes they don't try to duck the tax by trading away players and stuff. He likes the team that they have. He thinks they can grow. He thinks they can turn into something. So he kind of he wasn't saying like go out and get somebody. He was saying
I like that though, because I have read rumors that like Andre Drummond's on the trade market. And why is Andre Drummond on the trade market? Well, his number gets them below the threshold and they wouldn't have to pay. And it's like, man, look, I'm not sitting here pounding the table to keep Andre Drummond or anything like that, but I don't think it would hurt to have another 7'1" rebounder on your bench if you ended up needing him at some point, just to get below spending money. It's such a, this is the toughest conversation I've ever had, right? Because I haven't learned my lesson, because it's not like a guy went somewhere else and won something or, whatever. But back in the day, when I say back in the day, I just mean a few years ago at this point, when Tyrese Maxey was a young lad, I was willing to put a young Tyrese Maxey in a James Harden trade at that point.
Yeah.
I remember when KD was being rumored, and this isn't even like young Maxey, but it's probably like 2.5 years in of Maxey. I said, it's Kevin fucking Durant. Like, you can go get Kevin Durant. This is the same thing, but more. And this isn't Tyrese Maxey. This is VJ Edgecombe. I don't know, man. Like, I guess, fuck. Here's where I'll say I will be. Do I think the Sixers are getting him? No. I think that's just, obviously, like the fact that if that's true that Giannis is intrigued by teaming up with Maxey, that's awesome. That we're on his radar. I think other teams can make much more valuable trades and give better assets and more first-round picks and better first-round picks and stuff. I think from a mental standpoint, I would tell you as a Sixers fan, I am fine with not doing it. I would love to keep VJ Edgecombe. And if they go trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, I will love it. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'm okay. Like, I understand the unrealisticness of it. I understand VJ Edgecombe's, like, what he's done so far. Paul George has been very good this year. I'm cool with keeping this team intact, adding a marginal piece or two, whatever. The second that tweet comes across from Shams that they did indeed trade for Giannis to go with Embiid and Maxey, I'll be ecstatic.
No, I feel it. I did think on it.
Now, and I'm not trying to disrespect Herb Jones. You're just being stupid again. Like, VJ Edgecombe, I mean, he's only played for, and that's the thing. When I'm about to say he's only played for a couple months in the league, well, then the counterpart is, so you wouldn't trade him for Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Right.
The problem is, like, from what you've seen, like, you think VJ's ceiling is Herb Jones?
No.
He's calling him a low budget Herb Jones.
My thing is we have guys that can fill VJ's role, and I say that very lightly. But when you take Giannis into account. You slide Giannis into that 4 spot.
Yeah.
You can slide Grimes into the starting lineup at that point,
Look,
right?
man,
Like that works.
I've been a Paul George defender this entire year, and I understand what a
Nah.
disaster last year was.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
You're keeping the guy who's up and down and dropped 15 last night, but trading the guy that's dropping 30 plus every night for the last 3 weeks.
Perimeter defender. I get it. I get like the idea, but like no. I get
And
it.
to the people
Defender.
and to the question of how would it work, Embiid, I'll figure it out. That's my simple answer. Maxey, Giannis, Embiid, I'll figure it out. However, like I said, I'm not pulling up to the trade deadline, seeing the rumor of Giannis is interested and pounding the table, yelling at Daryl Morey because I'm just okay with moving on from VJ Edgecombe and Jared McCain and Paul George and whatever else comes with it. But if it were to happen and the Sixers' odds to win the East become the favorite, yeah, I'm going to be a happy Sixers fan that day.
Yeah. Solves a lot of problems. Rebounding, he averages 10 rebounds per game. So I think that helps. I think it helps you defensively.
We'll see what.
Let me ask you this, attacking the rim. I know I texted you something a little different, and it is ultimately what you've been saying. It will cost too much. But VJ, Paul George, multiple firsts. Yeah, I would do it. I don't even know that I would even think that hard about it, man.
I agree.
It's no
not a
offense
thing that
to
hard.
VJ.
Yeah, I do agree. I just seeing how quickly VJ has shined gives you optimism. But yeah. I think, and I understand Giannis is much older than VJ, and the people are going to be worried about his calf and injury concerns. How old is Giannis, by the way? Before I say something,
he's 31.
All right, that's fine. The question people have to ask, right, is you ever see VJ Edgecombe being in the same stratosphere as a Giannis Antetokounmpo? Like, no matter how impressed, no matter how much you love him, no matter how much he's helping right now. Again, if this is the team, I'm happy. I love the backcourt moving forward. I'm not saying that. But, like, the people out there that, no, I'm not trading VJ for Giannis. You think VJ Edgecombe's ever going to be a top 5 player in the league? If your answer to that is no, then you do it. And you can miss me with the picks, man. I don't care about pick swaps and 2031 future first round picks, and I don't care about that stuff.
Yeah, and I think like when it comes down to that, like you have young guards, you have some young guards that you can work with, man. Like I would do it like you said, not realistic.
Now he's keeping Paul George. Yeah, I was gonna say, there you go. I was gonna say now you're keeping Paul George, but bringing him off the bench. I don't know, man. It is. Yeah, we'll see. I'll tell you this: Embiid's not in the trade piece. I would guarantee you that. Because if you're the Bucs and you're moving on from Giannis, what do you want to do this year, Scotty? You want to be bad for the rest of the year, right? Well, who gives you a better opportunity to be bad for the rest of the year, Paul George or Joel Embiid?
You get Joel Embiid, maybe they shut him down. Phantom injury at that point. But
I don't know.
No, I feel you. At the end of the day, I don't think that's going to happen. I doubt we make any type of like big move.
No.
If we make a move, it'll be marginal, but I would like a stretch 4. I would, with Giannis out of mind. I would love a stretch 4 to go alongside Embiid as we see Barlow kind of fading. Hey, yeah. He's going to get opportunities. Show us that you can get back to that level that you were at, especially when you were starting. But I really just want to see some consistency as a whole from this team, man. You got a big stretch coming up, and it does. It looks like that West Coast trip. It looks like you can sink or you can swim, man. At the end of the day, if you're a good team, you'll find a way to get some dubs out there. But you could lose every single one of those games if you show up out there and lack energy. You can get blown out at the end of the day. The Hornets showed you that you can get blown out by anybody. But,
bro, you know who's a dog, by the way, and you've known this. But Khan's a fucking dog, dude.
He's making this VJ. He makes that VJ conversation hard, man. He does. He hit, 8 threes last night against the Mavs, had 34
Yeah, bro,
points.
and tell me how, I know we're at, but tell me how I bet the first quarter over in that Hornets game and the Mavs scored 20. So I lost by 2 points, right? Or 3 points, something like that. The Mavs scored 20. It was like 33-20. I needed 56 points, I believe. Every other quarter after that, the Mavs scored like 30 plus, and I think it went to overtime. Like, oh, they went crazy. Yeah, see, now you're being silly. Now the next one is where you're really being silly. All of a sudden, VJ Edgecombe's not it, and he's a straight up role player. You're being silly. The kid's been fucking phenomenal, and he's a top 3 rookie right now. And who's he behind? The consensus number 1 that dropped 49 the other night, and Con Knipple, who
the machine.
Yeah.
It's just a machine. The efficiency is just
And by the way, like let's throw.
I got biased, man. I'm a Duke.
This is not to take away from Con. Imagine Con's 3-point shooting surrounded by Embiid and all. I'm not arguing that. What I'm saying is you get flashes from these other guys. Like the fact that you're getting these flashes from VJ while Maxi's all-star starter and Embiid back and Paul George is playing and all this. Con's on a bad team being able to just let it fly.
Yeah.
Like, bro, the Hornets took their first 8 shots from the floor last night were threes. I think Con took 4 of them. Like, that's the team he's on to do that.
But man, the Con 3 is might be your best shot. Like, I'm not even joking, man. Like, that dude is a machine. He's shooting 49% from the field, 43% from 3, 90% from the line. He's just I just imagine it is very much a niche type of thing where you just imagine that type of shooting.
Yeah.
But no hate to VJ, but
look,
that will be a conversation over the years, VJ and Con, and it will continue to rise and go different ways, I'm sure.
But here he goes again. He adds on another name for a guy that hasn't dropped more than 15 points in over a month, and I don't know if he has all year. And Derek Queen. I understand it's a 2-way sport, and Derek Queen's side. I don't know what type of defender Derek Queen is with the Pelicans right now. Maybe he's fucking incredible. Derek Queen's last couple games, Scotty, you ready for this? 9 points, 4 points, 8 points, 5 points, 15, 14, 4, 10, 10, 14. Derek Queen's better than VJ Edgecombe, and he mocks VJ Edgecombe, but VJ Edgecombe's got games with how much?
He's had some highs, man. He's had some highs.
Some?
He's had some lows too, though. Like I don't know, man. I need that consistency. I get it. He's a rookie, though.
Well, that's what I was about to say. You're not gonna get that, but all right.
Yeah, Con give it to you. I gotta stop. I will stop. I'm gonna stop.
I never said it was bad. Never told you it was bad. How about this? Is 15, 5.5, and 4 bad to you, sir? Like, what are you talking about? You idiot. Now, goodbye. I'm done talking to you for the rest of the day. Everybody, I promise if you comment along, I'm not going to call you an idiot like I just called you for an idiot. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Follow us on Twitter at DSM_media. And if you want to be interactive like Pumper's doing, you won't always get roasted as long as you come with a little bit of common sense. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. For myself, for Scotty, enjoy the rest of your day.
Happy